the story that keeps on giving. This Caitlin Clark, Rob. I mean, it just seems like every day there's something still being said about this situation, and people knew or thought that she would lead to increased coverage with the WNBA, and that certainly is what they've gotten. Her TV games are breaking all sorts of records for the WNBA, but it's also, cast a light on just a lot of discussions that I'm sure the league wishes weren't taking place. Ultimately, I think it's all good for the league, Rob, because people are talking, people are tuning in, ratings are up across the board, particularly when she plays. But she's become incredibly polarizing, and the latest thing is her being left off of Team USA that's going to compete in the Olympics this summer. And Diana Taurasi, who's 42 years old, this will be her sixth time on Team USA, Rob G, if I'm correct. And she was talking about it recently, Rob. Here's what she said.
The Olympic team really is just a collection of best players. But at the end of the day, USA Basketball always has a firm grasp of what they need as a team. I think people kind of lose track of no matter what, you have to make sure that 12 players fit to form the best team, not necessarily the best players. So, whatever the 12 are, I think USA Basketball has always done a great job of putting that collection of talent together.
Well, that much is true, Rob, that they've won 7 straight.
I was going to say, whatever they're doing it right. So anybody who wants to question what are they doing, what they're doing is winning gold medals. How's that?
No, from that standpoint, absolutely. And like I said yesterday, from a basketball standpoint, you can certainly argue well that she wasn't one of the 12 best players that deserve to be on the team. I think there is an argument that she's good enough. Her numbers are pretty good. She's on record, on pace to be the rookie of the year. She's on pace at least to become the 5th player ever to average 15 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds at least. So she's playing well. Their team isn't winning, of course. But you could argue that either way, and more so probably that she's not one of the 12 best. But I do think from a PR standpoint, it would have been smart to put her on the team because I think they would have win. They're going to win no matter what. And I think that would have boosted the game even more. But here's what I want to throw at you, Rob. We know that we have some polarizing athletes today. LeBron James, Steph Curry, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady was polarizing. Let's face it. Interestingly, Patrick Mahomes isn't polarizing. And we're not saying this is the athlete's fault that they're polarizing. It's just some athletes, for whatever reason, some people love, some people hate. But do you think, Rob, at this moment in time, that Caitlin Clark is actually the most polarizing athlete in the world right now?
No.
Or is it American athlete, I should say?
I just think she's the newest and the latest. I still think LeBron James still runs and has the championship. Just recently, we talked about it, Chris, where LeBron is talking and giving Kyrie his flowers and saying, well, this, and people looked at it 2 different ways.
How'd you escape his wrath? Because he went off on Kendrick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not big enough profile, I guess. I mean, maybe he feels a kinship. You know what I mean? Like, you play in the league. How you talking about me like that or whatever? But I still think it's LeBron. I really do. Caitlin has the WNBA is still C compared to the other sports.
C is
you know what I mean? But I'm talking about just currently.
You're not even saying it as an insult, but I don't even know if they're that high.
But I'm just saying, like
quality.
I'm saying they're a C. So LeBron, like I said, we just saw it. People went after LeBron for that, and his son playing, and there's always something. I still think he's polarizing. Some people like, oh, this is great. That's what a dad should do, make it easy for their kid. And other people like, he's teaching his kid that he shouldn't get a handout. He should have to earn it. You know what I mean? So there's always both sides. So Caitlyn is definitely polarizing. There's no doubt. But I don't think she's supplanted LeBron. Not yet. It's just been too soon. LeBron has a history of this, and even here we are, 20 years, Chris, and 4 championships and all the other stuff, the all-time leading scorer and all these other things, and there are still people who will go after LeBron or push back on some of the stuff he says or does.
I think first I want to address LeBron before I get into this whole question. Would you say, I think because I brought up Patrick Mahomes, the best player in the NFL, not polarizing. Would you agree with that? Like, I just don't think Pat. Everybody doesn't love him, but he's not polarizing. I don't think Pat says anything to make people be bothered.
He
says the right thing.
He's milquetoast. Yep. He's not going to bother anybody.
Toast, but
I think he's milquetoast. He doesn't say anything. So why would you be mad at him? I just don't see him as that player.
Yeah, he says the right thing. It's hard not to like him. You might not pull for him and all that, but it's hard just not to like him. Rob, think. I think a question I have about LeBron is, was he polarizing before he left Cleveland to go to Miami? I think that did it. Because I think when LeBron was in Cleveland in his first go-round, I think like the only guy that really was going at him and being critical of him, for the most part, was Skip Bayless. But I think when he went to Miami, it feels like that's when obviously some people didn't like that. A lot of people didn't like that. And a lot of people stuck with him and did like it. But I think that was when, Rob, and then remember he did the villain. He was going to be the villain for that first year, and that didn't work. And, but I think that's when he became polarized. I don't think he was before that. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Probably. I think the I'm taking my talents to Miami, South Beach was where people drew a line in the sand.
Yeah.
Like who is this guy to go try to stack his team and try to win and all that? I think that's where some people decided to bail off of that LeBron ship, you know what I mean, and look at him differently.
No, I agree with that. As far as Caitlyn, look, you're obviously right in a few things. One, yes. I mean, LeBron has, if we count it from 2010, right, when he went to Miami, I mean, that's 14 years of this, of being polarizing, of having those that love you, having those that don't love you and all that stuff, and being a hot-button topic. Obviously, there's the Jordan versus LeBron and just so many things. Also, I would say Aaron Rodgers, with his stuff on and off the field, Tom Brady with his winning and some people not liking him and all that. Number one, these guys have been polarizing, if you will. And again, not saying it's any fault of theirs, but they've been polarizing for nearly 2 decades. And they're in the much larger sports, right? Like you said, I mean, football is king, obviously. Basketball is right there. I mean, these are the popular sports. And so, yes, they are, affecting the thoughts and views and feelings of far more people than a WNBA basketball player, Caitlin Clark. But at this very moment, Rob, I guess I if I had to use the term pound for pound, Caitlin Clark, I do think she is issues that really don't come up with the other guys, or at least not consistently, are coming up with her. Now, obviously, she's a female, so gender is one that's coming up with her, right? And obviously race. Now, race occasionally has come up with LeBron. He's taken some stances and things like that. But it really doesn't. I don't think it's ever come up to the degree that it is with Caitlin Clark. Some are saying players are jealous in the WNBA. Some are saying they're resentful and all of that stuff. Now, obviously, you got the Olympic team, and You got, is she the reason for the growth? And she is. I mean, it's just the numbers that bear it all out. You can love it. You can hate it. You can debate and talk about why that is, but it is happening. And I think at this very moment, again, it's hard to compare it to those guys, Rob, because football and NBA basketball are just on a different level. But, man, she is certainly in this moment giving them a run for their money. We remember the situation with Greg Doyle, the columnist in Indiana.
Right.
I mean, so it is really incredible, the passion and the emotion and the feelings that she has really, created in people, Rob. And so at this moment, I think it's hard to say somebody's more polarizing than her right now. I get it, and I totally agree with the history of LeBron and others and the, just the levels of their sport. But my goodness.
It's just that LeBron has been so long, Chris, and it hasn't died out.
And I get that.
That's the part, and I get it. She's brand new.
LeBron may be polarizing Rob till, darn near the rest of his life. Who knows? We'll see, but it'll be interesting. But, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying, she's brand new, and she's the newness and the hotness, Chris, so it's top of mind. And it does feel like that, but I just maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, and maybe other people, right? Listeners, Chris, will think that she has topped LeBron already in this short period of time. Do you have anybody else? Like Steph's died out because Steph was polarizing. I think now where they are, like he doesn't bother people as much.
And I think I would say, Rob, that's because yeah, and here's why. I think Steph was polarizing solely for basketball reasons, right?
Yeah,
Whether some people thought he was overrated, right? Some people think he's overrated. Some people thought he wasn't better than Kevin Durant. Whatever it might be, he doesn't have a finals MVP. Like you say, he's not clutch, whatever. It was nothing to do with off the court at all. Like, he's, lived a very... solid existence.
He doesn't bother anybody.
As has LeBron been solid, but LeBron's been more outspoken and things like that. Yeah, so I think with LeBron, it was the move to Miami that triggered it. Mostly, I think it's LeBron moving around to different teams. It's, people blame him for a lot of his coaches being fired. LeBron, recruiting guys and the cryptic tweets and things like that. So that's why I think even though LeBron's team isn't really that great anymore, he's still polarizing. Whereas Steph, you're right. They're not really contenders anymore. Basketball-wise, he's putting up good numbers, but, they're not really much of a factor. So I think
that's a good point.
Yeah.
It is based off of that. Like, you're not seeing – Steph wasn't in the playoffs, right?
Right, right.
So he can't bother me. You know what I mean?
Right. And if LeBron wasn't in the playoffs, it would have been a huge deal just because, tweets and things like that.